Hello, and welcome to our TvZ Race War event match, put on by the Machine vs. Man Team League. Today's matchups feature the Average Joes Terran TerrBear facing off against an event team of the current 3 strongest zerg bots, Steamhammer, Coxe, and Crona. Regardless of the end result, all 3 matches will be played, but we are hoping that our Average Joes player can put up a good fight tonight. And before we started, we just had some acknowledgements. We'd like to thank Sanko for the SCHNAIL framework, all the bot creators for their hard work developing, tweaking, and updating the bots, and of course Blizzard for creating Starcraft so that we can enjoy all of this fun action together. With that, on with the games! And welcome to our first match here on Benzene. In the top right we do have our Average Joes Terran TerrBear spawning, and the bottom left we do have our zerg bot Steamhammer. Now I'd like to start off by just introducing our players. Currently Steamhammer is the 3rd highest ranked zerg bot onto the SCHNAIL ladder, which is the Starcraft and Human AI ladder. It has a variety of builds according to its description that it can do, so we'll see what it decides to do against our human player. According to some of the bot designers, the bots actually play completely differently compared to how they would play against another bot. So like if they're playing against a human, it recognizes that and chooses a completely different build than it would do if it recognizes that it's playing against a bot. We'll have to see what our Terran player up here, TerrBear, is doing. Now, TerrBear is the weakest player on the Average Joes team. He's just making a standard depot there. Looks like no 8 racks for him. But he's currently ranked at 1300 roughly on the official Blizzard ladder, and then about 1200 on the SCHNAIL ladder. Unfortunately, he says that he doesn't really enjoy TvZ because he's not a fast enough player to really be able to effectively play it. But we'll see if he's able to do anything that might be able to counter or threaten Steamhammer here. Technically, Steamhammer is the higher ranked player here. And he looks like he started off here with an overpool, taking his gas early. It's a little weird. See what builds he might have for us. And our Average Joe player just taking 11 racks. Nothing too out of the ordinary here. Opening pretty standard so far. Steady SCV production. And the 2 scouts will go ahead and cross each other. And we'll see what he does now with that larva. Oh, so he is going full on Zergling Rush. He's doing a 9 overpool Zergling Rush. And going for a 1 base layer. Oh my goodness. I can't imagine what he could probably be trying to do with this. I gotta say, economically, I imagine lurkers. There was an extremely old build way back in the days that Zerg players would do, where they would drop lurkers on 1 base into another player's base and kill all their workers off. Currently, he's trying to survive as long as he can to keep this up, but this Zergling is just really... Oh, even bloody blocked. Let's see what that's... Oh, I was right. So yeah, he is going for lurkers. We do have 4 or 5 Zerglings heading up. And our Average Joes Terrans locked the drone in his base, trying to get it down. And he's going 2 racks. Starting on his gas. We'll see what he can do against this. No, he saw the layer, but he unfortunately did not see what the tech options coming after it were. And yep, starting a layer tech right away. Or excuse me, the lurker tech right after the layer right away. With seemingly no intentions of adding a hatchery after this. Zerglings just hanging out in the front. Got a completely Zergling tight wall here. There's no way they can get in. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure our Terran has hold positioned those SCVs as well as with some Marines. And let's see, we've got 1 Hydra, 1 Overlord coming. Sitting on 10 drones still, 4 minutes into the game. I mean, that's as all in as you can get. Dancing lings back and forth. Our Average Joes Terran, adding on an eBay and an academy, wants to seemingly cover all his bases since he wasn't able to get back out there and scout what building he threw down after he made, Steamhammer made the lair. Adding a factory as well and some turrets. Seemingly got one only in the mineral line for now and one at the front. And that academy finished. Oh, nope. Even making a second turret in there. And we have one lurker morphing so far. Two lurkers morphing, excuse me. There should be, yep, there's another one. My goodness, he's just got all sorts of stuff coming up. And let's see what he does with this first scan. Is he gonna scan the base and see what the Zerg has, or has he maybe had a little bit of star sense here and can sense that the lurkers are on their way? We'll have to see. So far, he is saving it. Oh, he used it. He used it to scan. Immediately seeing the lurker den. But it might be too late. Lurkers are almost on their ramp already. Steamhammer, for some reason, deciding to kind of leapfrog burrow those up. And making the two bunkers in behind. What do we got here? We got Stim on the way. I mean, this might be pretty much game for Steamhammer. I just don't see any way that he can break through two bunkers, three bunkers basically. He will have to lift this barracks though, unless, yep, there he goes on that. Even making a second turret, so that way there'll be no way for them to be undetectable. And he's pushing forward, Steamhammer trying to just get anything he can get done, targeting the turret for now. And that's actually an Overlord. Thought he might be finally taking another hatchery, but nope. Does end up supply blocking our Average Joes Terran, but that's just the way you go. I would sacrifice a supply depot basically and a bunker to stop a lurker rush all day, every day. We've even got a starport added on. Looks like our Terran player just wants to sit on one base, seemingly get +1 started, it looks like, literally right as I click that. That's kind of weird. And just see what he can do. Finally, 7 minutes, 20 seconds in is when I caught it, but probably roughly 7 minutes in, Steamhammer decides to take his natural. He did also, for some reason, burrow technically on the low ground. Because if he would have just gone forward a few more pixels and burrowed, he would have actually been on the high ground there. That might have been why he didn't have a lot of success when he tried to break the ramp earlier, since those shots would end up missing. Our Terran player just adding some mech here to his bio. Looks like he wants to try and clear this out. We'll see if he tries to take an expansion or just maybe even tries to go for the throat. Kind of wasting several of his infantry there when he could have just sat out of range with the tank and kill him, but it ended up clearing the lurkers anyway, so not like it really matters. And Steamhammer deciding that he was about to be immediately pushed and decided to make 3 sunken colonies. We're 8 minutes 30 seconds into the game. Steamhammer has still not made more than 12 drones. Does have a couple lurkers making more sunken colonies, it looks like. Just trying to do everything he can to stall this inevitable push that's coming. I have a feeling our Terran player will move out as soon as he decides that he is ready, though I imagine the big thing that he's waiting for is that vessel that just started making. And then he will be moving on out. I'll have to see what Steamhammer can do in this situation. I have to say, I'm not one to try and call a game early, but I would not want to be in Steamhammer's situation if I was playing. That's for sure. Seemingly, our Terran player, TerrBear, has decided that he is not interested in making SCVs anymore either. He does have one sitting over here. I wonder if that's just an idle one or if he may be trying to actually expand here soon. Gotta say, Steamhammer trying to do everything he can, but I don't see how he can really make this work. We are finally up to 20 drones from him though, so trying to make a comeback. TerrBear finally pushing out with his tanks, outranging those lurkers. We'll have to see if Steamhammer is just going to sacrifice them, or maybe try to unburrow them and reburrow them to stall for time. So far, he has just let all of them Oop, moving a little too forward with that tank. And oh my goodness, Steamhammer. 6 Sunkens. A lurker and a Hydra is all he's got right now. And TerrBear has decided now is the time. Now is the time to move. We got 3 tanks, a vessel, handful of medic marines, and 4 tanks. We are ready to take on whatever Steamhammer can throw at us at this level. Steamhammer opting to make some more sunken colonies. See if he can't try and slow that push a little bit to get some semblance of something going. Throwing down 2 more hatcheries. Don't know if that's the smartest choice for him to make right now, but you got to do what you got to do. And even deciding to expand up here in the top left for a 3rd. Ooh, TerrBear catching that Overlord out in the open. It won't end up supply blocking our Steamhammer, but it's not something that you want to happen when you're in this precarious of a position for him. Oh, moving that tank just a little too forward. Saying screw it. Gonna go forward anyways. Does end up lose that tank though. Can he push through with just this little medic bio force? It does not look good. Steamhammer probably into the game, into the line for them. We'll have to see. Ooh. Yep, catching these lurkers right as they come out. Doesn't even matter if they burrow. They got a vessel. Got scan. TerrBear expanding, taking his natural expansion finally at 12 minutes into the game. And Steamhammer's trying to do what he can. Setting up a defense there at the top of the ramp like that was a good idea, but ultimately when there's this many siege tanks on the field and only 1 lurker, it is not a good position to be in. Though TerrBear may be overextending, he has not linked up his reinforcements. All he has left was this 4 medics and 2 marines at the front, plus the siege tank. Finally linking up those reinforcements. Could have had a way bigger armor if he had done that a little sooner. Finally have a Spire coming down for Steamhammer. I gotta say though, I think that's gonna be a little too late. Simply because when you already have this much biomech at your front door, there's not really much you can do if you don't have Plague or Vessel, or excuse me, Plague or Defilers. It's Dark Swarm. Is trying to send some support with these lurkers and lings from that 3rd base, but running out of money, running out of workers. Fortunately, not recognizing that there is that block there, so those units will end up bugging out on themselves. And unfortunately, it is not looking good for Steamhammer. Oh, and with that, GG is called. TerrBear takes the first game, up 1-0 in the Race War TvZ event match. Steamhammer unfortunately wasn't able to take down our Average Joe player tonight with his Lurker Rush. But how will Chris Coxe do? We're heading into Game 2 now. Starting this second game here on Andromeda, we do have Chris Coxe, the Zerg bot, down here at the bottom right. And our Average Joes Terran TerrBear down here in the bottom left. Oh my goodness. Are we already... Some cheesy play coming out of these Zerg bots. We are seeing a 4-pool in action. We're going to have to see if our Terran player can defend this. Currently, he has no idea what is coming for him. Oh my goodness. He even sends the Overlord the right way, so he'll get him on the first scout. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. We'll have to see if he can win, but... 1100 APM, 4-pool in Zerg. I don't have high hopes. Oh. Unfortunately for our Terran player, even deciding to make the supply depot and barracks away from his base, away from the command center down here. We're going to see when these lings hatch. We do have about 70% done on the pool here. I mean, my goodness, I was going to try to talk about these things, but Chris Coxe deciding, screw this, we're going to get a W on the board. Try to, at least. Even sending out the Zerg, or the Zerg drone to scout out, but he doesn't even need it. He's got the Overlord going the right way. We do have them making... Oh my goodness. This is nail biting for me. He's barely started his barracks and he's going to have lings coming his way. More lings in production. See if Chris sends them to the right place on the first time. Oh my goodness. I think the drone scout is sending the Overlord back. Oh my goodness. He didn't even scout him, but he still guessed the right area. The Zerglings arrived before the barracks just finished. Oh my goodness, he's going to try to make a Marine. I don't know even if that Marine's going to get around. Our Terran players seemingly fall apart here under this league aggression from this Zerg bots. Oh my goodness, taking out the depot. He is trying to get a bunker up finally, but he's got no Marine. I mean, his barracks is floating. What is he going to do? Oh my goodness. Oh, this is mayhem. That was an absolute bodying by Chris Coxe. Just absolutely destroying our Terran player. And that's going to be game. Chris Coxe putting up a win for the bot team to even up the series so far. But will Crona close it out or fall to our human player? Time to find out. And finally, for our last match of the night, Neo Sylphid, we have Crona, not to be confused with Corona, but Crona, spawning here in the bottom left, and our Average Joes Terran spawning in the bottom right. Now, I've already introduced the Terran players, so we will go ahead and talk about Crona, the Zerg. Crona is currently the top-ranked Zerg on the SCHNAIL ladder. He absolutely destroys pretty much everybody in every matchup, and he has several different builds that are just honestly a pain to play as. I am not currently featured as one of the players that is playing in this league for this season, but I have practiced against them just to kind of get an idea of what the bots can do, and there have been many a game I have fallen to shenanigans pulled by Crona. You know, Zergling Hydro Rushes, Mutalist Micro that would make some of the pros look downright like they've never played this game before in their life. It's just ridiculous. I can't imagine what our Terran player has ahead of him for this game. Seemingly deciding to opt every game for a non-cheese build, trying to play standard as possible. Again, doing the same thing, 9 depot, 11 racks. Excuse me, 10 racks this time. And scouting early. I think that's a good idea compared to what happened to him last game. Don't want to get any more zergling rushes, though. Crona playing a straight up game, opting for a hatchery first build. Hasn't even thrown down the pool yet. And there we are in the pool. Just started the pool. For once, first game of the night, Zerg's actually not playing a cheesy build. It's something you love to see. We'll see, though, if that ends up playing out in his favor. We do have one cheese deflected and then one lost to cheese. So it's anybody's game if he does end up doing some sort of two-base cheese. And with that, both players opting so far for very economic builds. 14 CC from our Terran player, trying to match that economic might here of that 12 hatch. Also getting a lot more scouting information due to that delayed pool compared to the first and second game. Let's see if Crona decides to throw down a third hatch or take a third, or just going to stay on the two hatches. He is drone scouting, it seems. And our Terran player just kind of developing naturally. He's got his command center, one racks, couple depots, throwing down a bunker just to be extra safe, and Crona deciding here to take a third. Looks like we are going to see some 3-hatch shenanigans coming out of him. Taking his gas as well. See if this Zergling can end up taking... And, ooh, ends up taking that. Does also poke down here at the Terran's natural, but deflected by that bunker. Let's see what... So we're seeing an early academy out of the Terran player. What else is he going to want to do? So far, just sitting on one racks, one academy, one engineering bay. It's possible he's going to go for a 4-5 racks push, something like that. Meanwhile, do have +1 carapace already started for Crona. Ironically, seemingly matching the eBay from our Terran player without even knowing it. About halfway done on the lair. And so far, it's just a nice, slow and steady game compared to the other two. Their player adding 2 more Raxes. Got range on the way. Crona just throwing down a Mutalisk. Zerg Spire going Mutalisks. This is going to be absolutely brutal for our Terran player. We'll see what he ends up doing. He does typically know the timings to get turrets down from what he's told me from practicing. However, he likes, in fact, seeing the scan go down right there. And we'll see what he does with that information. Immediately deciding to throw down some turrets. So far only has 1. 2. Only 2 Marines in that bunker as well. Meanwhile, Crona really ramping up the Zergling production. It's a lot of Zerglings to have up in the front. Oh. Throwing down massive amounts of turrets here. My goodness, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11, 12. My goodness, 12 turrets. Throwing down 12 turrets. And the Muta's halfway done. Ugh. I mean, my initial impressions are he's probably pretty safe, but I've played against some of these zergs before, like I was saying earlier, and they can really make you feel safe, and then all of a sudden they're blowing your whole base up. Got our first flock of mutas flying in. Oh, and a zergling attack as well. Took out most of the marines. Is he gonna get the bunker? Deciding to fly around the turrets to hit the bunker from the side that they cannot hit the mutas. Our Terran player trying to repair. Seemingly that zergling causing everything to bug out and the bunker to fall. But this flock of mutas is not doing good. Most of these mutas are red or low. Even losing that one there. Crona trying to get any damage that he can. And it looks like we have another reinforcement of zerglings coming in. My goodness. Really working hard with these mutas. But where's the Terran's army? There it is, but no medics. We have no medics. He has to evacuate the natural. Zerglings will take out these turrets, lifting off the command center. These marines should take care of these zerglings here, but I mean, what do you do against these mid-flock? Trying to push it away or buy time as little as he can. Does have a batch of medics about to pop out. Ooh, we have really whittled down that mutaforce. Meanwhile, though, that natural is gone. At least he saved the command center. Only race that can. And what is Corona's game plan here? Seemingly giving up on the mutas for now. Rushing in with zerglings and hydras, but those don't do so well against a biomedic force. Working on teching to hive, taking a fourth. I mean, I gotta say, it's not looking good for our Terran player here, but at the same time, he has a sizable bioforce. And these mutas are annoying, but I mean, there's only 2 of them right now. He was able to kill that initial flock. Though it did cost him his natural. Looks like he's finally moving to reclaim that natural. Not mining any gas currently. And Crona throwing down some sunkens. Trying to get some defenses up because he is feeling a little threatened, I imagine, by the fact that he has hardly any mutas and hardly anything else. Ugh. I mean, he's being extremely annoying right now. Really taxing the APM here, it looks like, of our Terran player. But, Terran player deciding maybe he sniffs a little blood in the water. He's going to go ahead and move out. And, oh my gosh, finally finds that base. Thankfully, he's right as his units walk right into all those sunkens. And what is Crona gonna do? Seemingly trying to pull the Terran back by keeping up all the harassment of the mutalisks, but for now the Terran player just deciding it's all or nothing here, it seems like. Whatever the mutas kill at home is whatever they end up killing. Taking out those 2 overlords, it's not a good feeling. Terran player seemingly deciding to push forward. And my goodness, what do we have? The hive is finished. Do we have a defiler den anywhere? We do not have a defiler den. Oh, there it just started. Is it unfortunately going to be too little too late, it seems. And these mutas starting to really add up, breaking down the entire defense line over here of these turrets and the refinery. However, our worker count is almost the same now, with Crona dropping several drones with this attack on the natural. Trying to counterattack any way that he can. Our Terran player, though, just keeps sweeping forward with this bioforce. Fortunately, really showing the power here of what happens when the Zerg doesn't have lurkers to kind of pick it apart or mutas. I mean, at this point, I was saying the Terran player was basically defeated, but I mean, what can Crona do? He's gonna lose this base. This base has a couple sunkens and barely any drones. I gotta say it, I'm feeling very confident for Terran's position at this point. And Crona, last hope, pulling the drones and the mutas, trying to fight together. He may be able to eliminate this bioforce, actually, and put himself back in the game. But we'll have to see. Ooh, yes, he should, I mean. These mutas are heavily hurt, but there's only one Marine left. And there he goes. Crona able to buy himself a little reprieve for now, but ultimately I don't see him coming back in the game. We'll have to see if he's able to, though. It's a good thing the Terran saved those medics, because once again, he is very Marine lopsided. Mutas flying in. Turrets have not been remade, so we'll see if he can't be able to get a little bit more damage in. Really picking off these workers here. I mean, he's already lost 3 since then. However, Terran deciding he doesn't care. If it ends up being a base race of bio versus mutas, his bio should come out on top. Sending all of his workers down to the natural just to keep them away from the mutalisks. And our Terran player moving in with his medic marine bioforce. Got 1-1. Couple sunks remade. Drones being pulled. I gotta say, at this point, I think it's probably over for Crona. Everything falling, even pulling back the mutalisks, it looks like, to try and do something, but I don't think this little paltry amount of mutas is going to be able to take on this bioforce. Is able to kill a couple of those Marines, but loses 3 mutas in the process. I gotta say, that is gonna be game for Crona. Our Terran player killing his hatchery. I mean, he has nothing left. He's got 1 muta, 1 drone. Still trying to hold on. We have some reinforcements linking up with the main force from Terran. And I mean, this medic marine force is just gonna slaughter this base. There's really nothing that they can hope to that Crona can hope to do. He's lost all of his tech. He's lost everything. In fact, Terran checking to see if any more bases out on the field. Goodness, Terran is in a very rough spot over here. Buildings burning, his refinery is even going to burn down. Does have tech options, but seemingly deciding to go pure marine medic marine. And these sunkens, they may stop them for a while, but they're not going to stop them ever or forever. Pulling the drones even, that's game. Crona, unfortunately, despite being the top-ranked Zerg currently on the SCHNAIL ladder, falls to our Average Joes Terran. Well, after those action-packed games, our Average Joes Terran has prevailed with a 2-1 map score over our bot event team. Thank you for tuning in and checking us out. We'll be hosting 2 more event matches with ZVP and PVT to round out the typical StarCraft race war matchups before we start the league proper. So you'll want to subscribe so you won't miss any of the action. Thanks again, and take it easy.